the UK government has not been engaged in the way it should have been in order that we can develop manufacturing supply chains around the renewables industry in the UK. We have to stop celebrating failure in our renewables industry. We are exporting the jobs of the future to Indonesia, China and the Middle East. And the Scottish Government we have been very critical of as a union around renewables, but by goodness the UK Government has not been at the table. And if we want to stimulate jobs in the economy, then we need to change the subsidy mechanisms for the renewables industry. If the renewables industry wants support and subsidies, and by the way, this energy costs a lot of money, it's enjoying huge subsidies, then the UK Government needs to get its finger out and make sure that subsidies are linked to job creation, in the way, by the way, that we have done with Hinkley Point. So there are a lot of things that we could do to stimulate jobs and the economy, but it needs planning and it needs joint working by the UK and Scottish Government. The renewables sector represents the great betrayal of workers in Scotland and indeed across the UK. We were promised a green jobs revolution. We were promised there would be a just transition from oil and gas and other traditional sectors. And of course, yet the truth is, our renewables industry, our green jobs in the future, have invariably been exported abroad. Now, I listened to a government minister this week talking about the most recent offshore wind project, Seagreen project, and he said it's going to kickstart Scotland's green recovery. Well, let me put this simply. There's 114 major structures that are part of that project that support turbines. 110 of those structures will be built in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai and Denmark. The green jobs revolution is happening anywhere but Scotland and the UK. The NNG wind farm project, overseen by EDF, is a few miles off the coast of Fife in Scotland. You can see where the project's going to happen from Fife. The big structures for that project are going to be produced in Indonesia and China, shipped halfway around the world to be plonked off the coast of Scotland, and meanwhile, on the same Fife coastline, we have yards that are lying empty. Fabrication yards on the Isle of Lewis, which desperately needs work, and in working class communities in Fife are lying empty while we export our green jobs of the future abroad. And in fact, I would go so far as to say that the only expertise that the UK has in the renewable sector is about how we export our jobs. We cannot hope to export jobs and import an economic recovery, and the issue of renewables and energy desperately needs to be addressed for workers in Scotland and indeed across the whole of the UK, Chair.